I've been a pretty avid Apple user for about the past 5 years, and Mac OS and Apple products have always just felt like home. Actually, you know what? They've felt more like grandma's house. You know, like when you get to grandma's house, the house smells familiar. Everything's where it should be. It's warm, it's welcoming, it's inviting. Grandma's there to like ask you about your life and things like that. And that's how I felt that Mac OS has always been. And so when I switched over to Windows about 6 months ago, and then over to Samsung for my phone and tablet in the last few weeks, there's part of me that has kind of really missed Apple products and Mac OS and the Apple ecosystem and everything like that. And so, you know, I got this longing to go back. And so I decided I would buy the 24-inch iMac. And I didn't get the base model. I got the $1,500 one with the Ethernet port and the 2 extra USB-C ports and the 8-core GPU as opposed to the 7-core GPU. So got all of those upgrades, and I thought to myself, like, oh, this will be pretty good. You know, I'll be able to edit my videos on there. Hopefully it'll be able to replace my desktop. I'll be able to get back into the Apple ecosystem and back to the home that is the Mac OS and things like that. And then I thought to myself, and I'll also be able to do reviews on it, you know what I mean? And so I ordered the iMac on April 30th, which was the first day that you could order the iMac. And then a couple weeks later, on Tuesday, the Tuesday before my iMac was supposed to arrive, everybody came out, all the big YouTubers came out with their reviews of the iMac, and they all did the unboxing, they all did the initial tests, they all talked about what the iMac looks like and everything like that. And I thought to myself, dang, you know, now I'm gonna be behind on all of these videos I'm gonna make on the iMac. And then I started to think to myself, why am I getting this iMac? You know what I mean? There's like the nostalgia, and then there's also the shiny object syndrome where I'm just trying to, you know, buy something new. But I thought to myself, I've never really liked all-in-one PCs. I've never even really liked, you know, iMacs. I've always thought they've looked cool, but I've never really liked them. I don't like the idea of like, maybe I don't want my screen and I want a different screen setup, or, you know, maybe I want to be able to move where my computer is somewhere else, and maybe I want to change some things here and there, and maybe I want to upgrade. I've always liked that kind of thing, and then maybe I want it to be a laptop as my main operating system so I can, you know, take it somewhere else with me and whatnot. And so I started to think about all of these things, and I realized I have never really liked iMacs, even though I bought this iMac. And so it got here on Friday, this was a week ago, and I literally took it out of its like big box, and then you have the smaller box that you know, take the actual iMac out of, and I took that unopened box and I took it back to the Apple store and I returned it. And I returned the box unopened, and they didn't ask me any questions. They just, you know, scanned it in and refunded me my money and things like that. Went on my way, and maybe, you know, that was a stupid decision, or maybe it's like, well, why did you buy it in the first place? You should have thought of that. And something that I've been thinking about is that iMacs serve a specific demographic, right? Specifically with the white bezels that are supposed to look really good in, you know, kind of up against like white walls, or, you know, in living rooms and things like that, that these iMacs are supposed to, you know, be in more open spaces, and they're supposed to be meant as family computers. I realized that this isn't what I want as my main computer for the next 5 years. And, you know, I only have toddlers, so I don't need like a main computer, like a family computer for the next few years as well. And so I thought to myself, this isn't what I want to be doing. This isn't what I want. And so I returned the iMac. And then I got thinking to myself, but wait a second, they're putting the M1 chip in this family computer, right? This is the most powerful processor that Apple has ever put inside a computer, and they're putting it inside the family computer. And I realized two things about this. Number one, that's really smart, because families don't like replacing their computers. You know, if it's a work computer or if it's a personal computer, you know, you replace that thing like as soon as you can, because it starts slowing down, you start loading it with a bunch of crap and stuff like that. But family computers where a bunch of users are using it, you know, people don't like replacing those very often. And so having the M1 processor in there makes a lot of sense, because like it's gonna be a family computer for like a really long time. And yeah, you can do some really heavy work on it, but 5 years down the road, these things are still gonna be like really good family computers. And so they'll last like forever, right? And so that was the first thing I realized about these iMacs. And then the second thing I realized is that Apple must have something big coming for their next iMac or for their next MacBook Pros or their Mac Minis and things like that, or their Mac Pros. They've got something really big coming with the new M1X processor, the M2 processor, or whatever it is they end up calling it. I don't know, I'm not a genius in that space, but they gotta have something big coming because they're putting their most powerful chip inside a family computer, inside their most consumer grade. And what that does to the view of the M1 processor is now you can say the M1 processor is the base model. The M1 processor is the entry level. The M1 processor is the family version. It's not the pro version of anything anymore. It's the base model of everything, you know? And putting it into their tablet, I actually feel didn't necessarily make their iPad Pro look better. It made everything else look more consumer grade, because now on your MacBook Pro, you're only using the same processor that they're putting inside their tablets. You know what I mean? And so it's like, so, you know, what's great about a laptop? What's great about a desktop now? If you're using this like family grade, tablet grade processor that they're putting inside those things. Anyway, so I realized they must have something coming that's really big. And so I realized I would rather wait until Apple has transitioned over to Apple Silicon completely. They've introduced a few more processors. We've started to see a separation between, you know, maybe the Pro processors and the consumer grade processors. And then I want to upgrade to the Pro processors probably. And so it doesn't make a lot of sense for me to buy an iMac or to keep an iMac now and to use an iMac when, number one, I like the setup I have, and number two, Apple's got something way bigger coming. And why would I settle now for something that Apple wants is just like a typical family computer when I don't need it and something better's coming? So anyway, that's why I returned my iMac. That's why I'm not buying the new iMac. I'm not keeping it. I'm not going to use one. You're not going to see any videos about it on this channel because, you know what? I'm not that type of YouTuber, and that's not my kind of machine. So thanks so much for watching. We'll see you later.